Good evening. It's the 7th of April 2025, and welcome to Burgess Hill. This is our edition one of our new podcast, Jack and Cobo, talking all things Burgess Hill. We hope to bring this to you on maybe a bi-weekly terms going forward. But tonight we're just here for edition one, where we're going to introduce ourselves and maybe talk about the business end of the season. So, Jack, it's really lovely to be here with you.
Absolutely. Pleasure.
Maybe you'd like to start by giving a quick preamble about your history here at Burgess Hill Town.
Yeah, sure. So, for the people that do know me, I'm the guy that runs all the social media and used to run all the website as well. So anything that goes out on the Twitter and on the Instagram and Facebook is all done through me. That sort of started with my connection probably 6-7 years ago. I essentially just grew up in the local area, started coming after school with my mates to Tuesday night games down at the Hill. Then that sort of progressed into more Saturday games and more home and away. Then opportunity arose to do the media and do the website stuff and things like that. And that's sort of led me to not missing a game hardly ever in the last sort of 7-8 years. I probably missed 6 or 7 games in total, home and away, League Cup, whatever you like, in the last 7-8 years. So, yeah, people that know me will probably recognise my voice and your voice, of course, from we're two of the most hardy Burgess Hill fans that travel everywhere. So, yeah, that's how I started. That's what I do now. And here we are with the podcast.
Yeah, well, I think it was a bit of an honour that we got asked to do this.
Absolutely, yeah.
For me, personally speaking, I go back to around about August 2013 when a club legend, David Bradbury, asked me to come along and give the club a look over, which I did, and he asked me to become the programme editor, and I was very honoured to do that. So I spent that season travelling around with the then massive, who were the Barmy Army. I'm not sure if you remember any of those people.
Slightly before my time.
Slightly before your time, yeah. We travelled home and away to Guernsey that year. Unfortunately, that was the season where we went to Sittingbourne last day dressed as pirates. And we conceded 2 late goals and missed out on the playoffs.
Right.
But then the next year was the halcyon year. Ian Chapman and Stuart Tuck.
14-15, yeah.
Yeah, where we just conquered everybody, and it was just an amazing season to be involved in. I was particularly honoured to run the programme that season. And then we went into the Isthmian Premier League for about 4 seasons, where we had some fantastic times travelling around. And then I've got the date here, let me have a quick look. It was the 6th of March 2018.
Need a market away?
Exactly. I knew you'd know it. It was the first time that me, you and George ever really hooked up on an away game.
Yep. Correct.
From that moment on, the alliance was formed, wasn't it?
It was. I remember my vivid memory of that day. George, for those who don't know, is a school friend of mine who I started coming to Burgess Hill games with. He's a drummer here, but another avid fan of Burgess Hill. But my memory of that day of Needham Market was we were in year 11 at the time at the local school in Burgess Hill, and we'd managed to get ourselves out of afternoon class by doing something we shouldn't have done, and we were sort of in a race against time to go down and get the coach. We were on the players' coach of all the fans, etc., for this Tuesday night game. And as we were sort of coming down the road towards the ground, in front of us, about 50 yards ahead of us, me and George saw this man wearing a sombrero quite in the distance. And as we were getting closer, we realised he was also going to the coach in a Burgess Hill top. And that's really our first interaction we had with you. Obviously, went to the same place, spent the evening together in Needham Market, and yeah, it all stemmed from there, really.
Yeah, well, of course, just in keeping with the times, we actually lost that match as well.
Naturally, yeah.
It was just a given.
Yeah.
But you talk about the sombrero there, Jack.
Yes.
That's a story for another podcast, I think.
For another podcast, quite.
Well, it has to be said to anybody listening out there, Jack has been an absolute inspiration for a lot of Burgess Hill fans. He gets on these streaks and he doesn't miss a game for 180 home and away.
I'm also doing what you're doing and just looking up the exacts. So yeah, had a spell where 181 games in a row I did, and I think I've only missed sort of 3 or 4 of the last 300. So like I say, from sort of 2017, 2018 up until now, unless anything that I can't get out of comes up, I am at every single game, home and away. I haven't missed an away game since 2018, 24th of March 2018 was the last away game I missed. This includes friendlies, league cups, everything. So I like to keep that going as long as possible. Home games I've missed, maybe 1 or 2 a season, 1 this season. But apart from that, I am backing the boys wherever we are, and
that's a very you're turning into a legend there for Burgess Hill Town, Jack. Just to introduce this particular podcast,
yes,
we want to bring on some guests, don't we? Once we get it up and running,
that is the plan.
It's not going to happen tonight, unfortunately, and once the next season gets underway, we're hopefully going to be doing this on a maybe fortnightly basis.
Mm-hmm,
just half an hour to start with, see how you guys out there like it. Tonight, the main thrust of this particular one is going to be, we're going to look at the business end around here. We have 4 really exciting matches coming up. This is before the playoffs. And I was wondering whether we were going to mention the playoffs, because I know the managers out there like to go game by game.
Yeah.
But I think as fans, I think we are going to talk about those playoffs.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I know, like you say, managers' perspective and sort of maybe higher club officials' perspective is a bit like we just take it game by game. We'll focus on, of course, that will be the aim for when we're playing on the pitch. But I think for a podcast like this, which is made for the fans by the fans sort of thing, it's we're quite well within our rights to sort of look into the future and talk about hypotheticals and sort of dream about the playoffs, and it's been confirmed now we're in the playoffs, but should we get a home tie, then win it, and where that goes, we'll probably touch on it in a bit more detail coming up. But I think the playoffs is a fun topic to talk about for the first time.
Okay, we will do that then. Just to go back 6 months going into this fresh season.
Mm-hmm.
August 2024 when we started this season. I know we had a loss at Sevenoaks.
Oh dear!
But who could have predicted such a brilliant season?
No, not many people. I think in my sort of Isthmian South East predictions that I do at the start of every year, I had us finishing 10th. So I'm sometimes positive, sometimes negative fan, depending on how you look at it. But I thought we'd have a good season. I thought we'd have I was very happy with Jay and Gary obviously coming in together. I thought both of them would work really well. I'm glad that's been proven by how well we've done this season. But I just thought maybe we'd need a sort of building season for them to sort of and then we'd really attack it next year. But to credit to the management and the players that they've brought in, we have absolutely flown up the leagues this year. I mean, we went on brilliant unbeaten run, didn't we? Probably between like November to January sort of time, we were just winning everything, which was great to see. But it has come pretty unexpected in terms of how good we've been. But people shouldn't be surprised that Burgess Hill are near the top of this league, because bias aside, we are one of the biggest clubs in terms of supporters. We've got the 4th average attendance in terms of home games. We obviously spent time in Isthmian Prem 4 or 5 years, and if you look at the facilities, the ground, everything like that, we are an Isthmian Premier club. We are ready to be back to be an Isthmian Prem club. Obviously 3G potentially coming as well, which only helps. But I think it's come as a surprise, but a pleasant surprise.
Okay, I totally agree with you on all those points. I'd just like to pinpoint one particular night that we shared together with Mark Hinckley.
Yes,
we were the only
Amigo Mark.
Basically, we were the only 3 fans, and that was Erith away.
Yes,
have that, Adam.
Yes, Erith away. That to be honest, when you sort of get to the end of the season as we're coming to, and you look back at games like that Erith game, there was. I don't think you've watched more Burgess Hill teams than I have, but in the last 6, 7, 8 years, I don't think there's another Burgess Hill team that would have won a game like that on a Tuesday night. We won 2-1. Like I said, Tuesday night, probably 120, 150 fans in attendance all together. Like I said,
freezing
cold, sort of maybe, was it January, February time, something exactly like that. And we went 1-0 up really early through Marcus Allen. It was in 2 minutes, I think.
Yeah.
And then they equalised through a bit of a defensive mishap, where if you're a follower of Burgess Hill, you'll be quite used to those over the years. Not so many this season, but that's a bit of a a theme maybe over the years, defensive mishaps. But and then we were really up against it for quite a period of time. Erith are a very robust, direct team. They like to get their own way with officiating and like to really pen you in. Lots of set pieces,
And if
all
you remember,
that sort of stuff.
Sorry to put a butt in there, but if you remember the manager was quite forceful, wasn't he?
Yeah. The manager liked to get his own way. He was very trying to influence as much as possible from the sidelines, the referees' decisions. So we were really up against it, just everything included. And then to come out of that, after being pegged back, for Martin Box to then go down the other end and sort of get the winner with about 15 to go, and then we held on to the lead and sort of saw the game out.
Yeah.
That sort of epitomises what we've done this season. Go to places, uncomfortable places, sort of fight back and showed that defensive resilience to get a big 3 points in the end.
Yeah. Well, moving forward now, we've only got 4 games left in the regular season, but they're 4 really exciting games. We've got Deal out here on Saturday.
Yeah.
Tell me a bit about them. We went down there early doors in the year. I think it was the first game in 2025.
Yeah, it was correct.
It was a fantastic game of football.
It was.
Could we expect the same?
Yes, I think is the easy answer. Yes, I mean Deal. For those that don't know a lot about Deal, and I'm not sort of coming on here as a Deal Town expert at all, but just from peering at the table, peering at their sort of stats in terms of goals for, goals conceded, I think they're sort of sitting around sort of 10th to 11th at the moment, so very much sort of very mid-table. But they've had a very good year, first season up in this level after being promoted last year. But they score a hell of a lot of goals. I think it's only Sittingbourne and Ramsgate, that have scored more goals. The top 2 in our league that have scored more goals than Deal. So, I mean, it's clear to see why they perhaps don't sort of sustain a sort of more successful push, probably because they concede too many. But when you watch Deal, certainly proved by our game back in January when I think it was 6-2 or something like that, 5-2, whatever it was. There's always goals in a Deal Town game. They score a lot of goals. They often let in a lot of goals. So it does tend to be exciting fixtures. So hopefully not jinxing it, but it should be, I mean, from our point of view, from a neutral's point of view, from a fan's point of view, should be another entertaining game. But we, need to sort of bounce back from our defeat at Croydon on Saturday and, sort of get back in the winning ways.
Exactly. And if I might, we then go to a club on Good Friday that I've just been hearing so much about. Sittingbourne this, Sittingbourne that. They've had a season from the ages. They did really well in the FA Trophy.
Incredibly well.
Got through to the quarter-final maybe.
Yes. I think it was the quarter-final, yeah.
And in the Isthmian South East, they've virtually been unbeatable. I
Yeah.
know they're second in the league because Ramsgate are running away with it.
It's crazy. Sittingbourne must look at this season and 9 times out of 10 they'd be 10 points clear at the top of this league. Exactly. And they'd be, and everyone will say they deserve it. Nobody will argue about it. And somehow they find themselves second, 7 points behind a juggernaut Ramsgate team who, and between them they've barely lost a game this season. So, our fixture after that on Good Friday is Sittingbourne away.
Yeah, I mean, just to do a little thing about that, the club are running a coach.
Yes.
To Sittingbourne on Good Friday. The suggestion is that if you are going to try and come to that game, why not get on the coach?
Yeah.
Why not? It's quite early. I think we got a bit of an early kickoff at 1:30, so that means everything shifts back a little bit. So the coach are going to be leaving around about 9:00.
9:00, yeah.
So get yourself on that coach. We're going to have a tough game, aren't we, down there?
Yeah, I mean, look, we'll have a tough game because Sittingbourne are second in the league and they're, a very, very good team. Like you say, quarterfinals of the FA Trophy is an incredible achievement for a club at this level. That's obviously National League to National South, all the way down to our level. But I just think the way that we play and the way that Sittingbourne play are just completely polar opposites. I just think Sittingbourne are one of those teams where we're not set up to play a team like Sittingbourne. So we like to get the ball down. We like to play really good football. We like to pass. We like to, very sort of modern way of playing. Where Sittingbourne and how they've had their success is they're a bit of a throwback team. For example, their centre half is on about 12 goals this season. They're not afraid of going direct at all. No, not a horrible team to watch. Winning is all that matters in football. So how they win is doesn't matter. But they're a lot more direct. They'll get the ball forward quickly. They will punish you from set pieces. They'll pin you in. They're a team of giants, which we're not. we're tall, we're strong, but we're not set up to play a team like that. So it's a real mix of styles. So it'll be interesting to see, but I think we'll really have to be on our A game and really have to, bring it to them to sort of get a good result out of there. But it should be a really good game.
Yeah, exactly. We finished with 2 local derbies, 2 Sussex derbies, which is really nice. We've got on the Easter Monday, we've got Three Bridges coming here. Now, we were party poopers when they opened up their brand spanking new, gorgeous new artificial surface. We were the first team to have the honour to play on it, and we beat them there.
Yeah.
They've gone on a run since, and they are just about still fighting for a playoff position. Whether that's the case when they come here, that day is up for grabs. We always have entertaining games out here against them. Yeah,
we do. They're a really... I think, firstly, credit to actually everyone involved at Three Bridges, because obviously for the start of this season up until, what was it, December, they were playing all their home games, we say, over in Chatham, which is, is not near Three Bridges or the Crawley area at all. And to be fair, all of their boys pretty much are, I think, Sussex-based, local-based, or as far as I'm aware anyway. There's not many, sort of Kent players. So it was... And that's probably why. Now, they'll probably finish the season just missing out on the playoffs, just as it stands with 4 games to go. But if they weren't playing their first, 10, 12 home games, whatever it was, in Chatham, then they'd be comfortably in the playoffs, probably. So they've had another really successful year, obviously lost the playoff final last year. And, there was another team that seemed to enjoy playing us. We've sort of been beaten by them a few times over the years, at home especially. They seem to really get up for a game like this. A Sussex derby, obviously, they might still have something to play for. They might still be going for playoffs. That'll add a bit of excitement if that is the case. But they'll be wanting to finish high. But again, it's similar to the 2 games we've mentioned. It should be another really good game. Another team that scored a lot of goals. Three Bridges. We're former Hillian Reece Hallard's 25, 26 league goals, which is fantastic for a player who's I liked him a lot, but has really kicked on this year to levels perhaps he didn't show for us. But fair play to him.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, I would definitely suggest to fans to come out on that Bank Holiday Monday for that one, to try and fill the place up. It'd be the last regular home game of the season. And then on the last day, we go to a club where, not to be controversial, has had their critics, Littlehampton. But for me, I think they're a club that have done really well for Sussex. They've been to Wembley recently.
I have been to Wembley.
How many non-league Sussex teams can say that?
Oh, exactly.
Recently.
I have been to Wembley.
So they've been to Wembley, and they're going to the Amex in the Sussex Senior Final.
Yeah.
So they've got their critics, but they do things well, and it does look as if they're going to stay up this season. Phoenix Sports look to be that team who's going to fill that 4th relegation spot. So we're going to go down there. That could be a dead rubber, couldn't it?
It could, yeah. I mean, from our point of view, if you think about what we're going to be playing for, we're obviously now just focusing on finishing 3rd, getting that home playoff tie. We don't want to have to... We're currently 6 points clear with a much superior goal difference. We probably only need a maximum of two more wins out of the last 4. So it could be all done by the time we go to Littlehampton. I hope it is. Because Littlehampton again are another team where it's a tough place to go to. They really, again, pretty direct team. Not conducive to our style of play. So if we are for whatever reason having to go there, needing to win or needing to draw, we'd all like that to be sort of clinched before we head to Littlehampton. That could be a sticking point maybe, but hopefully it's not. But like you said, they've been to Wembley, I think 2-3 years ago, obviously in the FA Vase final when they were so good, and obviously now got to the Sussex Cup final this year, playing Horsham. They seem to be a fantastic cup team, and I think obviously at the moment they're looking quite likely to stay up in this league again. They've just seemed to manage to get enough points every year, which is fair play to them. I think if you asked a lot of Sussex teams in this league, Eastbourne Town, Broadbridge Heath, East Grinstead, etc., if you would stay up in this league and get a cup final, then everyone would bite your hands off. So I think, Littlehampton might come with their critics, but, fair play to them for having such a successful season.
Yeah, okay. Well, that's the regular season done and dusted. I'm conscious of people's time here, so maybe we could just maybe round out our thoughts, because I think in our last win at East Grinstead, yes, we cemented the the playoffs that night.
Officially confirmed, yes.
So we are going to be in the playoffs. I just wanted to throw it open to you, Jack, to what you think about that semi-final. Is it going to be here? Is it going to be elsewhere? Who will it be?
Yeah, well, I mean, we can both sort of have our own sort of take on what we think about this, really. But I mean, I do think that we will get the home playoff. Like I said, we only need probably 6 points from 12. I mean, hopefully we obviously get 12 out of 12. But when we've put ourselves in a great position up until this point, my thing that I'm still thinking of in the back of my mind is, do not assume it's going to be Margate that we're going to be hosting just yet. Now, it likely is going to be Margate, but Merstham have come from nowhere since January to go on an incredible run that's shot them up into 5th at the moment. And as we're recording this, their next game is at home to Margate, Merstham. So those two, 4th and 5th, are playing each other on Saturday. Now, if Merstham can beat Margate at home, at Merstham, then they'll cut the gap to, I think a handful of points, maybe 3 or 4 points, and then 4 points, there you go. And then Margate's game after that is in Ramsgate. I'm not fancying Margate getting anything from Ramsgate. That could be the game where Ramsgate clinch the league, they'll have the trophy celebration. I don't think Margate will want to, muck that up to a big rival either. So, I mean, it's all ifs and buts for now, but let's say they lose the next two Margate, then suddenly it all goes down to the final day. And then suddenly the pressure's on Margate to, because not discrediting us, but I think Margate would probably like to come to us rather than go to Sittingbourne, for quite a few reasons probably. Maybe not location-wise. Maybe a Tuesday night in Sittingbourne's easier for them, but I do think we will clinch third. I do think we will have enough in us to sort of get over the line. I think we've always spoken about, haven't we? Just as fans of this league and obviously other leagues as well. When you get to playoffs, the one thing that you need to have in playoffs is momentum. If you look at whatever league it is, National League down to this league, for the clubs that get into the playoffs, for the clubs that then go on to do well when you think wow and sort of have a look back, it's the clubs that have finished the season with a string of wins together that have maybe just scraped into it, maybe that get that 5th place or 7th place in National League, whatever it is. They then have all that momentum. They then have that belief. They're the ones on the high. So it really is important, I think, to end the season strong. Don't sort of scrape it. Obviously, it'll be great whatever happens because we're in the playoffs, but don't sort of scrape in and sort of lose to Littlehampton and perhaps drop points here and there. Let's really go about winning our last 4 or as many as possible. But yeah, in summary, I do think we'll be at home. My sort of thing that I'm up in the air about is if it's Margate or if it even might be Merstham that we might have coming here on a Tuesday night, which will be very exciting because Merstham and us go back a long way, don't they? When we won the league in 14-15, Merstham was the team that won the playoffs that year to go up with us. So us and Merstham in promotion battles are pretty intertwined.
Standard, isn't it? Standard.
But then if you then were to think about, let's just say, for example, it was Margate we played and, whoever wins that match goes through to the final. Then we think about who we might play in the final. Well, it's going to be Sittingbourne versus Merstham, maybe. Merstham are a tricky little team. Sittingbourne will be favourite. Sittingbourne are an outstanding team. But Merstham will be they'll play the plucky little underdog card very well. They'll go there. They'll pretend like it's just a one-off for them. They're just happy to be there. Jamie de Cruz, who's the Merstham manager, is one of the best young managers sort of in the game, especially non-league. So he'll fancy his chances of going there and causing an upset. But I don't think Sittingbourne would really like to play Merstham on a Tuesday night. They're just a tricky little team. Like that Sittingbourne lost last year to Three Bridges in the playoff. Again, another tricky team that you don't. It's not. It could be. It might not just be second beats 5th and third beats 4th, and then it's us and Sittingbourne in the playoff final. I think this season might just have a few more twists and turns between now and then when we get to the playoffs. I don't know what your thoughts are. Perhaps you can.
Yeah. Well, thank you for that. I mean, you've obviously been thinking about this quite a lot. It's probably been going through your mind quite a bit. You are the true supporter there. So you're constantly looking at the table, are you, Jack?
From about January the 1st up until the end of the season, I refreshed the table more than I'd care to admit.
Well, there you go. For me, personally speaking, I'm more looking at it from an operational point of view. When you consider that the team does go down to Littlehampton on Saturday, with all that entails, who's going to play, who's not going to play, who's going to be on the bench. It doesn't take much from us, from an organisation point of view, to go and do that. But then the club goes straight into those playoffs on a Tuesday night, so there's no time at all. So if we was to get that home draw, and hopefully we will, I'm pretty confident we're going to get that home draw. We're going to have to get the programme ready. We're going to have to get this place, because by the way, we're sitting actually in the stadium right now. This whole place will have to be spick and span, ready to rock and roll on that Tuesday night, where we're probably going to welcome probably over 1,000 fans. I would suggest.
I think it could be
so the outlets have got to be right, the bar's got to be right. So there's going to be a lot of hard work to get that going. Now, if we were to win that, which I think we will, I still think it's going to be Margate. I don't think Margate will allow themselves to drop down any further.
Yeah, the odds would suggest it would be Margate.
Yeah. But I've got a sneaky suspicion that Merston will go to Sittingbourne and probably win that game.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I said. The plucky little underdog, go there, just try and frustrate, cause the upset. And like I said, who are linked? Who are the two clubs that are linked in a Burgess successful
we
season?
We are so linked to Merston. It's unbelievable. And then going back to last season, I was fortunate enough to go to Ramsgate with Chichester, and who would have thought lowly Chichester was going to beat Ramsgate in a 1-0 Mo Hammer last minute. Yep. I went mad. It was a fantastic experience. So in those playoffs, it's a complete lottery. Yeah. And anything can happen. But I truly think that we'll have Margate here. We've got 4 points out of 6 out of them this season. A win here and a draw there. You remember a 1-1 draw there. Fantastic game of football. Alex Brewer last minute header.
Yep.
So I believe that we will win that game here. A very tight, great game. And then we might have to go and have another home game on the Friday night.
Possibly. We'd love it. So
that would be 2 massive home games right here in mid-Sussex. And for me, as a fan, I would love that.
I'm already getting ahead of myself. I'm just thinking about, because obviously for the home semi-final on a Tuesday night, should that happen, that'll be a big crowd. We average sort of 450 anyway. But then we'll obviously get a lot more. Margate are obviously a very well supported football club in their own right,
including that Terry. Come on, Margate.
Yeah, Terry Scott, very well known, non-league lover, Margate fan. But so we'll probably get near on 1,000. I would hazard a guess at for the Tuesday night game. And then if obviously big if, but if we are at home in the final on the Friday night, it's better for everyone's, a lot more availability, I'm sure, for people to come down on a Friday night than it's a Tuesday night. And this place is gonna. How many would it attract? Up near to 1,500, 1,750.
I think 1,500. And when you consider it's the Friday night of a bank holiday.
Yes.
So
good point.
And then there's all sorts of football going on that weekend and other playoffs and everything. It's just an exciting way to start. Three Bridges did it last year and the place was packed solid.
Absolutely. Yeah, because neutrals, groundhoppers, neutrals, fans of whoever want to come and see good football. The playoffs is just the best games, no matter what level, what league, from the Football League down to the Isthmian, the Southern Combination are now going to have the playoffs. That's going to be a good spectacle. But yeah, we would get, if and when it happens, the playoffs here would garner massive interest.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just calling out to all the club officials. Cobo said it first. 2 home games on the trot there for those playoffs. We've got some work to do, but let's hope it happens.
Let's hope it happens. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. So, how are we doing for time, Maestro?
You're on 29 minutes, so if you want to wrap it up, we can.
Time pretty well.
It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you, Jack.
Oh.
I think we've gone through some really good stuff there.
No, thank you very much. And likewise.
It's reminded me of some great times that we've shared over the years.
Yeah, and as sort of Colin said beforehand, we'll try and do this, on a bi-weekly, maybe even weekly sometimes basis. Obviously, the season's coming to an end, so we'll really sort of get it sort of to you weekly, probably when the season restarts. But for now, probably bi-weekly. Obviously going out to all Burgess Hill fans, all fans of non-league. We'll, like I say, we will cover, obviously Burgess Hill related, but we will move on to different clubs and perhaps have officials here, players, management staff, who can offer different insights, different topics of conversation. So yeah, anything Burgess Hill related, anything Isthmian South non-league that involves Burgess Hill, this will be the listening tunes that you should tune into.
Okay. Yeah, as you say, this is one for the fans, and I'd just like to finish up by sending a huge thank you and message of goodwill to all our fans out there. The Alliance have been brilliant this year. Just keep coming, doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
The management really appreciate your support. Keep coming, and hopefully together we'll go and nail it this year.
Yeah, what an exciting end to the season we've got. I mean, we've always said, well, me and George, since we've come to the club, have always said we just want to get playoffs. We want to get playoffs. We want to experience a playoff push. This is the season. We are going to experience a playoff push. Are we ready to go up? Who knows? But you don't look a gift horse in the mouth, do you? If chance arises, if the playoff comes, you don't want to be the losers in the playoff, do you? You're in the playoffs to win it. So
exactly. Well, it's good night from me.
Good night from me.